I'm Hanokh,
I'm Lacandor.
and this is,
Comic book night.
and we're here to talk about comic books,
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty
believe.
definite that this is comic book night this week.
You weren't so much last week, if I remember right.
I know, although I am pretty tired tonight, so
All right, so we're not going to do a 3-hour recording session, is what you're saying?
that's the plan.
We will see.
It
How's the new microphone sound?
sounds pretty good.
Excellent. Your other one
Uh,
broke on me, so
yeah, well, that's pretty much the way it goes. Every time I buy someone something nice, they destroy it. So
I don't think $26 counts as something nice. That's something decent.
it's nicer than anything you ever bought me.
I think that big bag of goldfish I bought you that one time was pretty nice. It was a big box. It only took me 2 years to get it to you.
Yeah,
All right, we have so much news.
I
The
know there was a
news,
lot today.
I know. Well, this week, because we collect this all week, and then we
Yeah,
gather it together.
no, I don't. I did it this afternoon. Don't lie.
I'm just gonna say we. I'm gonna see how many times I can
You
say that in one.
you added one thing, so.
I did. Yes, I did. All right. So what's number one? Go for it.
Apparently Man of Steel may already be greenlit for a sequel, even though it hasn't even premiered yet. So,
Well, they want that Justice League movie to compete with Marvel, so
well, I would like a Justice League movie too, and I would definitely like the Justice League Dark movie. So, but yeah, it was. They were saying that they used their voodoo math to figure out how good the ratings were going to be and how much money it was probably going to make, and they're hoping for 100 million this weekend. I don't see how this movie can't make 100 million this weekend.
well,
Uh,
there's it's got some mixed reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, not that I
is it
really care what most
Superman
people.
popular enough to make 100 million?
I think so. I'm just want
Star
to see.
Trek was popular enough to make 100 million.
Well, Rotten Tomatoes, wow, it's dropped a lot. The critics are very pissed off about this movie, but um,
I just hope it's because
63%. But look at Transformers 3. That thing was absolute garbage, but it made a killing in the box
I
office. So
hate the Transformers movies.
one
But
was okay. I didn't mind one as much as I might. I mean, I didn't. There was a lot of things wrong with one, but they just kept compounding on themselves as the sequels happened.
I don't like when a movie tries to have a serious tone and Looney Tune antics at the same time.
But you need to have at least a half dozen comic relief characters. Don't you know how this works?
Yeah, no, I totally disagree. But I'm hoping that people aren't liking Man of Steel because all the trailers are showing the Superman growing up family side of things, and I think most of the movie is probably actually going to be about the invasion by Zod.
I'm okay with that.
And that's
I've seen Smallville. I don't need to see 2 hours of Superman growing up.
right. And so I'm hoping that all that growing up stuff is crammed into like the first 15 minutes of the movie, and then we get like 2 hours of Zod.
Neil. And then our
Yeah,
second piece of news. This is pretty quick, pretty straightforward. DC Comics decided to change their pricing. Same day digital comics pricing policy. Digital comics will drop by $1 after 4 weeks now.
no, no.
Oh, sorry. It used to be after 4 weeks it dropped $1, but now it'll take 8 weeks before it drops any in price because DC needs more monies apparently.
Well, they said it's a digital comics like this is a new format, and so they're still working out how it should work. And
They're
so they're
still
just,
cheaper. Marvel doesn't actually drop it by anything, so they're still ahead of the curve.
yeah.
I don't know anything about like Image or those guys.
It makes me want to start buying my comics digital because at my comic book store, if I don't get them when they first come out, they go up in price.
Well, I get my comics a combination of digital and in print,
I like mine in print.
so you can touch them.
Yes,
That ruins the value.
I know.
That's okay. They don't really have much value anymore.
I haven't really ruined any of my comics. I have a couple of comics that I've purchased within the last, what is this, 2013? The last
14.
20 years that
It's 14.
it's not 14.
To make you think
Um,
about it for a second.
I was gonna say 2011. So
I know. I heard that. You basically did say it. You just kind
uh,
of caught yourself on the tailwind there.
13. But I see that it's up around $50 now. So, anyways, but I do have some rare versions of comics. So, anyways,
I found this news, so I guess I'll share this.
I guess so.
I guess so. I'm about to. You can't stop me.
I could.
Just give up.
I just want to say to ruin your story right here at the beginning that they're backing away from this because they're embracing the rape in Dial H.
Well, you just stole my thunder. So, darn you. So, okay. So basically the news story here is DC is apparently backing away from the previous incarnation of Dr. Light. And so we saw Dr. Light in, was it Justice League America last week? Yeah, that sounds about right. It was in GLA, I think. Um, and so the
Yeah.
Dr. Light there was all struggling with science and stuff, whereas in his previous incarnation, he was a supervillain and most known for his raping tendencies. There was
Was
a
it
major.
JLA or was it Catwoman?
I want to say GLA. I really
What's
want to
the
say GLA.
what's the one where Catwoman got killed?
It wasn't Catwoman.
All right, then it was
I think that
JLA.
was maybe that was GLA. Wasn't there an annual or something? No. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was in the same comic. I don't know. It was a couple comics ago. There's so many. Okay, there's so many I read.
But
Uh,
it had to have been JLA because he was looking at the
right.
coin from
Right
the
thing. Yeah. So
yeah.
it was in that same comic. Yeah, because then the end of it was the whole brains on the floor Catwoman, which DC came out and said is not actually Catwoman, so we can all cool our jets. It's probably gonna be some magic stuff there. Anyway, sidetracked. Going back. So in his
I told
previous
you I was tired. I can't stay on track while I'm tired.
uh, chug some Mountain Dew. Anyway, did you just die there?
I stretched and my entire spine just made popping noises.
You might want to get that checked out.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to topic.
No news story for you.
I am doing this. We will stay here for an hour if we have to. Nothing else until we get done with this. So, Dr. Light in his previous incarnation was known for his raping. The major storyline with him was a series of comics, a crossover event called Infinite Crisis, which was all edgy and real in the mid 2000s. And the big thing was he raped one of the characters' wives, and then Batman found out when they were mind wiping Dr. Light, and then they decided to mind wipe Batman. And well, Batman figured out that he got mind wiped and reacted the way Batman would when people betray him and went nuts. Uh, that's what happens when you justify somebody's tinfoil hat conspiracies. Kind of like the NSA thing. But boom!
He didn't kill anybody.
That's true.
He should have, but he
He
didn't.
should have, but he didn't. So basically, brand new Dr. Light. I think this is a positive thing. The news article at Comics Alliance argues it's a positive thing. A lot of times, unfortunately, comic book writers try to use rape as a edgy, storytelling device to cover up their flaws and inability to write well. So, I mean, I don't mean you can't ever have rape in a comic book, but it's also just a cheap device. So, yeah. Go on to the next one.
It
So
can be used as a cheap device. It's not necessarily.
that's what I said. It's just what I literally just got finished saying that when you piped in with that comment. I'm getting antagonistic today, so just deal with that.
You just said it. It is a cheap device. I was saying it.
It can be a cheap device. It usually, okay, I should broad. I don't know. Situationally, it could be a cheap device. I feel like with what I've read, it's usually been used as a cheap device, but I haven't done an exhaustive study of rape in comic books, so.
I don't know. My experience with reading comic books is that it's hard for them to write well. Period. Doesn't matter what they throw in there.
Truth. I'll agree with that. So what's the next story?
I don't think I've ever read these, but apparently a new Batman Black and White anthology is coming out in September.
Yeah, I saw about that.
And it's going to be the first new stories because the previous two volumes were backup stories taken from the actual Batman comics. And so these are going to be all new stories written specifically for the Batman Black and White miniseries coming out.
Right. The thing about the black and white is I've actually read a couple of those, and the big thing about those is they had writers who don't normally ever write Batman writing them, and so you got some really cool and interesting ideas that they played with. This one, though, I believe, and you can quote me, I might be wrong here, so don't quote me on this, but I believe they're using more like writers that have done Batman before, so some of the novelty might be gone. But still, it should be fun. I mean, Batman.
I don't know, it was a bunch of people I didn't recognize. So, what Neil Adams, Sean Murphy, Chris
Neil
Samney.
Adams. Wait, Neil Adams?
That's what it says.
Is that the guy who wrote Batman Odyssey? I gotta Google this.
Oh no.
Did you ever read Batman Odyssey?
Part of it?
Oh man.
Batman's acid trip, you mean?
You need to finish Batman Odyssey one of these days. We need to do a special on Batman Odyssey. That is Neil Adams. Yes, it is Neil Adams. I knew it.
That'll make you happy.
Oh dear Lord. Well, those comics didn't really make me happy. They made me question whether I was on drugs or not. I think they did have Batman punching out a pterodactyl, if I remember right. So, floating, literally.
Was it a pterodactyl or was it a giant bat? I remember a giant bat.
Oh, there was several scenes. I think he might have been riding a giant bat while punching out a pterodactyl.
All right.
There was a lot of interesting things that happened in that comic, but Alfred was still amazing. Amazing.
Yes. All right. So the next news article is I didn't really write it down about the dude's interview. I just wanted to write down that they released some more of the villains that are going to have their own comic for Villains Month in September. Earth 2 is going to be Solomon Grundy. Detective Comics is going to be Harley Quinn. And JLA is going to be Deadshot. And all three of those are written by the same guy.
Who's writing those?
Some guy named Kent.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay with all those.
And then the last article thingy I saw was Teen Titans Go got renewed for a second season, and I still haven't watched an episode of it.
I hear a lot of anger towards that TV show. I think people are still upset because, it's not Teen Titans. But I still haven't watched a single episode of it either, so can't comment on it either way. I probably wouldn't enjoy it. I might enjoy the first episode and be done with it, but
nothing could be as bad as that piece of trash on the Disney Channel, Jessie, I think it's called. I hate that show.
I never heard of this either.
It's
Is it live action or cartoon?
Live action. Singer, songwriter, chick gets on the wrong bus and winds up in New York.
It sounds like every other Disney-esque comedy thing.
Has no money.
Right.
Gets hired off the sidewalk to be the nanny to troublesome children.
Wait a minute. They had this before. It was in the 90s. It was called The Nanny. It was with a Jewish woman.
Right. And so one is I can't even remember. I think one is a Hispanic kid, and one is a little black girl, and one is a.
Does your nephew watch this? Is this how you know about this?
My niece and nephew watch it, or my nieces watch it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And then they've got fake British nanny who's got makeup on so that she has warts on her nose and stuff.
Oh, gosh.
And they tell the most racist jokes I've ever heard on a television show.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow. Disney, their standards have dropped.
And I'm just I cannot believe that this is what you're watching. We love this show.
The racism makes it better. What's that? There's supposed to be a really good cartoon actually on Disney. It's
Phineas and Ferb?
Well, obviously that one's amazing. I love Phineas and Ferb. No, it's I can't believe my mind's blanking out on this. It's super popular with adults, and it's not Phineas and Ferb.
My Little Pony?
No, that isn't on the Disney Channel. We don't speak of that abomination. Gosh, I'll admit I watched an episode of that because of all the people say that this is just the most amazing cartoon in the history of mankind.
Can't bring myself to do it.
I have enough of an open mind that I can, I was like, well, I'll give it a shot, and it was a great little cartoon. If I was a 6-year-old girl,
See,
it had no appeal to me whatsoever. On a critical level, I mean, it was decent voice acting. The art style, I guess, would appeal to a 6-year-old, and the characters I could see appealing to a 6-year-old little girl. I don't understand how like a 20-something man child could enjoy this.
I don't know. My cartoons were ruined by the fact that I saw Batman the Animated Series.
That's the standard. That
So,
everything else. There are certain cartoons that rise to the standard of Batman.
so I have pretty high standards for my
Remember
cartoons.
Samurai Jack?
Yes.
Excellent. It's on Netflix.
Yep. Clone Wars was awesome.
I never really got into Clone Wars. You talking about the Jenny Trutowski series, or you're talking about the follow-up series, right? That was on Cartoon Network.
Both.
Okay. Um, all right. So yeah, that's it for news. I'm newsed out. Nothing,
Uh,
nothing else important happened if we didn't cover it. So right, right. That's how this works.
right, right.
Right. Only the essentials.
That the one week when Comics Alliance was down, and there were no articles on comic book resources
Yeah.
about DC. I totally just Googled DC comic news, and that's how I got our news.
You
Uh,
can't reveal these secrets.
I didn't even bother to do it this time. I just went right to Comic Alliance, and
It's back, so that's all we need
there's like 1,000 news articles today.
every
So,
day. So pretty much.
all right, not 1,000, but Anyways, let's go to the comics. So our first comic was Batgirl, which was Batgirl versus the Ventriloquist.
I enjoy the ventriloquist villain. Opened up with some Nightwing calling Barbara going, yo, you okay after you killed your brother? No. I did like there was like this one speech where I was like, are you all right? And then he's like, well, that was a stupid question for me to ask. And she's pretty much like, yeah, that was.
I thought when I opened it that I had opened the wrong comic.
It was Nightwing. Yeah, because it was Nightwing talking to a redhead.
Well, no, because the first 3 pages are Nightwing. First 4 pages, 5 pages are Nightwing.
I like how we had to see him and like, huh, see, he's fighting, he's busy. Herp derp, which doesn't make any sense with the actual Nightwing comic that we read this week. But he was fighting, and they've done this bit. They've done this bit like a half a dozen times, I
Right.
think.
I seem to remember her on a motorcycle leaving one time.
Yeah, they were. It's like, I'm fighting, I'm not. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
What do you think the villains are like the Stooges he's beating up, when he's just having this one-sided conversation while he fights them?
Um, I don't know. They look stupid, whatever they are.
Whatever
Guys
they
with
are.
guys with bags on their heads and nooses around their necks. Doesn't that defeat the
It's
purpose? I am not going to go into a fight wearing a noose dangling off from around my neck.
We attach guns to the sides of our heads. Fear us.
Well, gun to the sides of your head to be okay, but a
No,
noose?
I'm talking about loaded guns on the side of your head. So if I just reach over and grab the
Oh,
trigger, I can blow your brains
pointed
away.
at my head.
Correct. Oh, you meant pointing away from your head. No,
Yeah.
that's a one-off Batman villain.
But yeah, I don't know. The Batgirl part was awesome.
Hmm.
I could do without Nightwing. Ventriloquist was awesome.
Yes,
Um,
she was.
she is way different than the old ventriloquist. Uh,
She's a great villain. I hope she comes back. My honest complaint with this is I wish they could stretch it out for a couple more comics. I really enjoyed her creepy scenes and stuff.
she was probably one of the creepiest villains they've had.
Well, the resolution, they still never really explained. Like they said, it's like some kind of psychic power, but she's able to bring the puppets and her dead parents to life. And what is it? How
Well, I
about that
think
scene?
she's just a perfect mimic with TK.
Yeah, how about that scene though where Batgirl had to slice off one of the parents' head, and she's like, "I'm gonna puke, aren't I?" Yep, I'm gonna puke.
Yeah,
I was
that
like,
was funny.
ooh. But yeah, she
Uh,
takes down the puppet was pretty funny too.
yeah. Who's the
The
dude that
bullet.
showed up at the end to go on a date with her?
remember way back when she saved that dude and
Is,
she kissed him
is
so that his buddy.
this the one with the fake
I
legs?
think so. Yeah, something
All
like
right.
that. After and so then in her she said then in her civilian mode, she ran into him again and
Right.
she decided to let him ask her out on a date.
Well,
So
I I know that they were supposed to go on a date. It's just so hard for me to tell because nobody
how
ever
time
looks the
works.
same.
Well, the other thing is time works differently in comic book universes. So
Yes.
it's Dragon Ball Z rules. So
He kind of looks like a young Bruce Wayne.
he does. He used to be much uglier
That's
in
what
the
I
other
thought.
comic.
Did he have
He was
like
more. Yeah, he had like a
piercings
thug look.
and
Yeah, he did. Well, he cleaned himself up for the date, obviously.
obviously.
I think she might have said something to him like, don't look like a dirty hobo. So
Right.
I'm too lazy to go through my comics and find that, of course. So
Right.
just take my word on it.
And then at the end of that one, we had our, since it's the first comic of the night,
Oh,
had our Channel 52, which was basically just Zatanna and Constantine telling them to get their camera out of their face. And some
I
monkey
enjoy-
dude.
yeah, that's Detective Chimp, and he is amazing.
I
I've
didn't know
seen
who he
him.
was.
He was in some Batman Brave and the Bold, and he was pretty darn funny.
That explains why I don't know who he is.
Right?
'Cause I didn't.
Just never watched Batman Brave and the Bold.
Nope, it was too not Batman the Animated
It'll be
Series.
interesting how they bring Detective Chimp into this, though. Uh,
That might be his only scene right there.
oh, well, I enjoyed it. That
Kind of like Calendar Man got removed from being a Batman villain and made a news correspondent.
comic books.
All right, so our next comic was Batman, which this week started Batman Zero Year.
Well, it was garbage like the rest of Batman's comics.
I know it was terrible from the opening scene where those creepy masked dudes tried to kill a kid who was
Red Hoods.
those are Red Hoods.
Oh no! You're talking about. Oh, I remember now when he was pre full Batman. He rides down the motorcycle. You're talking about that
Yes,
scene.
short
Yeah,
sleeve Batman.
that was so weird. That was so the comic opens. So the 0 year is going to be the next 11 months. So we got to get used to this of kind of chronicling the preparation of Batman before he's truly Batman. And this comic opens with him in Gotham, and some thugs are beating up some kid, and Batman saves them. But Batman is riding a motorcycle with a short sleeve Batman shirt,
That's funny.
sporting all his like weaponry from his back, and it was pretty cool actually. It was kind of like Mad Max Batman,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
okay with that.
I see that he took the time though to put the bat wings all over it.
Right. Well, how else are you gonna know?
Right.
And then he's like, they say you're dead because of what happened, and then they cue to Red Hood pre-Joker. I think we're gonna find out that the Joker is Red Hood again in this universe.
Yeah.
Um, so we have the Red Hood, and it was pretty good.
Yep.
He apparently has sleeper agents all around. All the middle class Gothamites might be recruited through blackmail to become a Red Hood. And Batman's all like, "How do I solve this problem?" And Alfred was great as usual.
Right. Yeah, and then you had Alfred being all concerned about Bruce Wayne because that's what he does, and then they brought in Bruce's uncle.
Yep, that's a new character, I think.
What's his name? Something Kane. Uh,
Yeah, Uncle Kane. He's related
Philip,
to, yeah,
his mom.
his mother's brother, and apparently he's in league with the Riddler. Pre,
Yeah. Apparently the Riddler saved Wayne Industries while
right.
Bruce was gone.
They helped Kane took over and they merged with the Kane's company, but apparently the Kanes are hated in Gotham and he wants a Wayne in charge because everybody loves the Waynes, and Bruce is all like, "Nope, I'm kind of busy." And then he's like, "Well, what do you do? How about the giant penny in front of the building? I wonder if that's how he's gonna get his giant penny in this universe."
Yeah, I don't know. I also like the scene when he was a little kid and his uncle showed him the 360-degree mapping ball, and then
Mm,
they show him throwing it down the well to where the
right,
Bat
to
Cave
Batcave
is.
is. I also
Um,
love I
but
also
yeah,
love
I liked Edward Nygma
you know,
standing in the midst of all his string.
I think he's definitely. They've really done a good job with all the Batman villains, except for Mr. Freeze in the reincarnations, in the New 52. My favorite part, though, I think the penny, though, is going to play a role. It's like a Chekhov penny, you know. You can't introduce a giant penny and not use it for anything. They spent like 2 pages near that penny, so.
Well, maybe they just, they want to explain why he keeps a giant penny in the Batcave.
Well,
I always assumed that had something to do with Two-Face, but I don't ever remember seeing a...
it's I don't know if they brought it over from Batman the Animated Series explained it in the Almost Got Him episode. That's the one where Batman as Killer Croc goes,
Right.
I threw a rock at him. It was a big rock. Anyway, so Two-Face's story of the episode is him tying him to the giant penny and flipping him.
Right.
So and they're like, and then he let him keep the penny after they, and he was all like, "Mah, mah, mah, mah."
Yeah, and then they had that little backup
I enjoyed the
about
backup
how Bruce Wayne learned to drive.
through a career criminal.
Yep, he traveled around with the thief, and apparently the guy was really good at driving cars. So
Taught Bruce how to drive, and then Bruce betrayed him because he killed a bunch of police officers.
so I'm guessing we're probably going to get 12 of those as well.
Yep, that'd be cool.
12 little what Bruce Wayne was doing in the years where he was gone.
So overall, what do you think of it as a start for Zero Year?
It was a little slow, but I enjoyed it.
It was a little slow. I'm hoping it picks up a bit with the next comic.
I liked the beginning of it quite a bit more than the middle of it.
Mm.
But I like the reveal that Edward Nygma's told his uncle to kill him, so that should be fun. And I didn't think the little thing at the end was very strong, but it was
It was just kind of slammed in at the end.
yeah.
As far as backups go, I mean the content's pretty good. Like the whole. I'm interested in this
Right.
premise.
It's not as good as
It's definitely not to the quality as Batman's been.
Batman's been, but it's it's nowhere near.
Bad.
It's still good. It's still really
Yeah.
good. It's
It's
just,
above average for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll get stronger because this is the setup issue. So
Right.
I would probably put this one to be like the same level as the issue after the Court of Owls wrapped up.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of sitting around twiddling their thumbs, getting ready to tell a new story, kind of thing.
Well, we're waiting for the next story to drop.
Yes.
So what's the next comic?
Constantine and Papa Midnight.
So I read actually the early parts of Hellblazer where they introduced Papa Midnight, and definitely different Papa Midnight, and I'm still okay with that.
I didn't think he was too different.
A little bit. He definitely does have. Well, I mean, he had the antagonism in the Hellblazer comic, but yeah, this was. Oh man, this is what happens
his
when
top hat.
Yeah, that's true. He did have a top hat. I love that this is what happens when someone tells Constantine to go hang out with his buddies. That's the premise of this comic. The person whose place he lives in says to him, "Go see your friends," and how about Zatanna? And then he goes back to Zatanna saying, "I never want to see you again," or that nice Chris kid, and then he accused to Chris being dead. He's like, "Yeah, I'll go see my friends," and then everything else happens.
I like the part with Papa Midnight, and he's like, "Yeah, I've got these agents of the Cult of the Cold Flame here. They came after me weeks ago, and I cut the clever one in half and kept his soul in the body." And
it's all like, "Please kill me."
it's got a zombie hanging from the ceiling, going, "Please kill me."
I love how John Constantine goes to see his buddy who owns a bar, and his buddy had sold him out to Papa Midnight's crew because they wanted him to. They were looking for him because Constantine stole something from Papa Midnight that the Cult of the Cold Flame, whatever they're called, wanted, and so they start beating him up one hit for every day. So they hit him 3 times, and then he takes Papa Midnight. He's like, "What do you?" He's as he's going, and I love that line where he's like, "Listen, I was doing you a favor taking that away from me." He's like, "Only John Constantine would steal from me and then tell me that he was doing me a favor.
Yeah, and then he tells the guy to that he put a curse on himself, a rebound curse, and Pumpkin's like, "Did you check him?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's in my front pocket there, buddy." And so the guy reaches in and pulls it out, and it activates the curse. And so every blow that he took for those 3 days he didn't show up, the other guy received the damage from immediately.
All those guys did each way, and so then he's able to stand up completely whole. And then he tells Papa Midnight that he's got another curse built into him if he tries to attack him, and he's like, "I'm leaving now, and but I want to talk with you still. We're gonna do it on neutral ground."
Yes, and they went to see Zatanna, and she's angry at him because, he's
It's
Constantine.
Constantine.
And then some dude was following him, and he beat the crap out of that guy. And
Go tell the chick that tell the truth that I beat you up and
Sargon.
stole your money. Tell Sargon I beat you up and stole your money.
Yep. And then he went back home, and or back to the old woman that told him to go see his friends. And then the bird said, "The
Everyone's gonna
bird,
die pretty much.
tomorrow it begins. 50 million deaths after light falls."
John Constantine.
Because you know what starts next?
Trinity War.
Trinity War.
Yeah, Zatanna was all like, "I'm seeing the future, and you're you're shaking hands with Lex Luthor, and Batman's involved." He's like, "I never even met those people. This could never happen. Come on, Constantine." I'm sure he believes it and is already preparing for it. So
I'm sure. Although that's really weird because I don't. It's not even possible. I don't. This is the whole timeline thing again.
Constantine said he actively avoided these guys.
But I mean, no. What I'm saying is, how does the Trinity War fit into the timeline with JLA, which just started?
Well, it's going to involve JLA.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
This is current timeline.
Well, what about Constantine?
Well, this is different than. Are you trying to reconcile Hellblazer to this?
No, I'm trying to reconcile Constantine the comic to the Trinity War.
That's the whole. All he's been doing is running around. I mean, he's been teaming up with Phantom Stranger.
Except that Justice League Dark crosses over with those other comics and it is at the same time. There's no way Constantine and Justice League Dark are at the same time.
Oh yeah, I think this is like during his off time with them or something. I don't know.
This is during his vacation days.
Basically, he only meets with them on the weekends.
Okay.
So,
well, that explains it then.
Yeah, stop trying to make sense of this.
One of these days, I'm gonna flowchart this mess and figure out when things are taking place.
I will give you $100 if you ever decide to flowchart this mess.
I'll do it tonight.
Yeah, right. If you flowchart the entire 52, all the comics, I will give you $100 because I know it's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
You'd be surprised. I'll do it tonight.
Out of spite, I forgot.
Out of spite.
I thought you're tired.
I am tired.
You get stamp blade and really chart out the entire 52. It
No.
has to be in a readable chart too. There you go.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. All right. So our next comic was Demon Knights.
I enjoyed it. They finally found the Holy Grail. Apparently, Jason Blood has been taking Constantine lessons this week.
Apparently. A little bit of betrayal going on from Jason Blood. He betrayed Etrigan and Vandal Savage.
It was quite masterful, to be honest with you, because Jason Blood up until this point has been kind of like a wet sack of potatoes in some ways. Like
he threatened Lucifer in this one with the
Holy Grail. It was
he threatened Lucifer with a box,
which he believes contains the Holy Grail.
It hasn't actually been opened yet.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's not going to be that easy. So, but yeah, so he goes and they find the door that Merlin put up to find the Holy Grail wherever it might be, and so they decide through their arguing that Jason Blood will go through it because, of course, they need him to read Merlin's stuff, and then Vandal Savage because doesn't want to get messed over. And so the rest of them decide to go meet up with the Muslim dude at his city. And so they go through, and it turns out giants have been collecting all these ancient relics of magic for whatever reason. And
for Merlin.
from Merlin, and they swap.
Or
So he,
maybe not. I thought they decided that was from Merlin.
so he finds the box, swaps out Etrigan, goes back to hell, tells Lucifer, "Yeah, we're not doing the swappy thing anymore. Send me to my friends, or else I'll open the Holy Grail here." Lucifer's like, "You got cojones to do that," and Etrigan is betrayed, and he betrays Vandal Savage and Etrigan,
Yep.
and gets the Holy Grail, what he thinks is the Holy Grail, back to them. So that was pretty much it.
Well,
Comic,
the way he betrays them is he shifts back to hell
right?
and swaps Etrigan in just as he's about to get hit by the giants, and leaves Vandal Savage unconscious on the floor with the giants. So
He believes that Vandal Savage is actually dead, though, so
yeah, which doesn't work. But
rookie mistake.
I thought it was pretty funny when they were going through the treasures that were in there, and
Oh,
you
Vandal
see,
Savage threw a fit over the Horn of Plenty.
yes, but just the artifacts that are there, like you can see the golden fleece laying in the background,
I
and
saw that.
the Horn of Plenty, and
Hey, is that the Ark of the Covenant?
probably.
They're in that warehouse, aren't they?
Oh, you know what? That's probably where they're at. This is the original Black Warehouse.
Uh, don't worry, it's in good hands.
Yeah. But yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
So our next comic, what do you think about this one? Green Lantern Corps.
I hate to say it.
Go on.
It was pretty good.
But there's a very good reason for that. Lack of focus. There was absolutely no Guy Gardner in this entire comic,
No Guy Gardner.
which automatically raises it.
I kind of like these new bad guys.
Yeah, the shapeshifters who are going to take over the Guardians. And Jon Stewart revealed more of his sociopathic tendencies in this comic.
And they had little weird people being inducted into the Green Lantern Corps.
If I thought the Guardians were still there, I figured this would be part of the Guardian plot.
That one dude is a straight up killer. That guy from
Yeah. He has the ability to overcome great fear.
Well, that's true, but he is an actual gladiator who was mad. Who was mad that the ring chose him because he wasn't done killing yet.
How about the ring that left a mother away from her starving child?
That was nice. Yes. They're like, we don't have the Guardians anymore to show how terrible the Green Lanterns are. We need a new way to show how terrible the Green Lanterns are. I know. We'll rip a mother from her child, who is the Emperor, so that we can have him grow up without a mother, so that someday his race will be horrible, horrible people in the universe.
I feel like what really encapsulated really the entirety of the Green Lantern run in the New 52 was like kind of like the second to last page, where the enemies of this comic are on the run from Jon Stewart and Black Star Sapphire, that's his love interest, and because he can't really confess his love to her because he's a sociopath, but they're on the run, and so they shapeshift into the people of the planet and claim to be children, and that the Green Lanterns are attacking them, so they're about to open fire. So the page goes, aliens going, the Green Lanterns are threatening innocent Koshin children now. You need more recruits for your army of monsters. Is that it? And Jon Stewart's like, you don't understand. The Third Army wasn't. They're like, back away, or we will be forced to fire. And he's like, those aren't kids. They're I don't know what, but they just changed. We're warning you. Fire on my mark. 3, 2, 1. They fire. He's like, this is insane. Didn't Green Lanterns used to be the good guys? Yes, they did. Until this comic and all the other Green Lantern comics. They have no goodwill in the universe anymore. Yeah, it's until the Guardians try to merge every people of every planet. But yeah, so it was pretty interesting. I did like, how'd you like the new Guardians insulting sentient beings in this universe? Did you catch that little one-liner?
No, I didn't.
Where he's like, does this species not distinguish between reality and perception? This is why we must venture out into the universe to learn its intricacies.
I thought it was really funny. I was too distracted by the Templar Guardian dressed as a Templar.
Oh yeah. That was pretty cute too.
Because
I'm
the new
interested.
Guardians, the old Guardians all wore matching robes, and the new Guardians all have on different outfits. So there's like Steampunk Guardian and Templar Guardian, and I don't know, that one's kind of,
I like the steampunk Goggle Guardian.
I know.
There's also
uh,
Pope Guardian.
Pope Guardian,
Yeah, one looks like a pope.
the one with the beard.
No. Are you in the comic?
Yeah.
Flip to page. Okay, it's the same page where he goes. It's a page before the what? It's the same page where he goes, "As a species, I understand." Look at the second panel where it shows like a bird's eye view, and look at the bottom left-hand corner, Guardian.
Oh yeah, he does got a Pope hat on.
Yes, he does.
That's funny.
So, anyway, that's it. Pretty good, which is I'm still shocked to say that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if as a
Because there was
whole it was pretty good, but I
it
liked
had
a
its
lot of the
moments.
individual little parts. So,
I did, yeah. So I'm definitely interested if they switch the focus to these new Guardians, which I mean these new Green Lanterns, which I think they're going to do. That should be pretty interesting.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of skimmed over the Jon Stewart and whatever her name is parts.
That's an intricate part of the Green Lantern universe. Their love triangle or love
Oh,
circle.
oh, and they all got called away at the end or Jon Stewart got called away because Larfleeze is attacking Oa.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
Larfleeze.
all right, and then our next comic was Katana.
So Katana's individual comic kind of got off to a little bit of a rough start, but I think it's been getting steadily better and better, and I really enjoyed this week's comic.
Yeah, I didn't.
Why did you enjoy it? Is it the art style still, or just because it's such a different Katana because she still talks way too much,
It's
or her whining about her dead husband?
I don't know. It's weird. It's like they wanted to do Kill Bill, but they didn't quite get the feeling of Kill Bill. Um, and I don't know. There's like no cohesion to the storyline for me. And like I don't know. We've got like it started off with Katana training, and then she's a spy, and then she's going up against the Dagger Clan, and then her sword gets broken, and then monsters come out of it, and then now she's going up against the outsiders of the Sword Clan or something.
It is hard to keep track
Um,
of all these different clans. I wonder if they're going to be related to the Arrow clans.
I don't know, but it's
That'd
people
be kind of interesting crossover.
people were complaining about too many evil organizations before. I'm so confused by this thing. And then I was just like rolled my eyes because the mistress assassin of the Sword Clan, her name is Swagger.
I did laugh at that. I did laugh at that. I couldn't take that one part seriously.
Are these not
I,
Japanese clans? Really? Her nickname is Swagger?
I still liked it. I mean, the villains, yeah, they're a little hokey, but I don't know. There's some.
It's
I guess I'm a sucker for
really,
the.
really over the top.
It's got some moments. It's kind of like Kill Bill.
This is not the katana from Birds of Prey.
No, it isn't. I guess I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't really like it. And I really rolled my eyes when they fought underneath cherry trees while the cherry blossoms were falling.
Oh, I know. That was so great. I see. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I never.
Too hokey for me. I did like the part where she fought him with the fans.
I do have to throw this part in there. You are complaining about a comic being too hokey this week that previously had her looking at pieces of tattoo on an untouchable to read her future.
I didn't have a problem with that. I thought that was cool.
It's cool, but it's a little hokey too.
Not hokey like this comic was.
Eh. But you did like the fans? I did enjoy the fans.
Pretty much the fans, I liked their fight at the end, and I liked the creeper showing up and killing the old lady before she could fix the sword.
Well, that was going to be her grandson who has to do it.
Right, but that whole deal with Swagger I thought was stupid.
I like how
Uh,
easily she was defeated, and she's supposed to be the head of her clan.
I know I had to flip back and forth like 3 times to even figure out what happened. Because they're like talking, and then the next panel is her jumping, and then the next panel is her pulling a sword, maybe? I don't know what she's doing there. And then she's got 2 swords in her hands all of a sudden.
She uses snake style.
And then they land, and Katana kicks her in the face. And then next thing you know, she's pinned to a tree. Let her bleed out, Katana says.
Yep,
Uh,
yep, yep. So
yeah. It was okay. It's just, I want Katana from Birds of Prey.
hmm.
And this is almost more like, I don't know. She kind of reminds me of Catwoman.
Really, I don't see that. I wouldn't go that far. She doesn't have any Catwoman's
Well,
playfulness to her
she's more
personality.
like Starling than Katana.
I mean, okay, then I guess she is a little bit more like Starling, but I still don't think it's a really good.
But Katana in the Birds of Prey comic comes across as disciplined.
Right. Of course, that's from the outside looking in too. So
Yeah, but this whole comic, she's very, very undisciplined and more, I don't know, she talks a lot.
yes, she does. Well, she's always narrating. So speaking of, I think that's about it with Katana then. So we have mixed feelings about Katana. But speaking of too much talking,
I actually didn't mind
what? Wait, go on, keep going.
Nightwing this week.
I'm gonna have to take a few minutes to compose myself.
It was,
I thought it was on par with the previous weeks. I didn't think it was any better. I didn't think it was any worse. Um, I really haven't hated Nightwing the last couple issues. I
well,
don't.
that's,
I feel like we've broken away from Haley Circus. Yes,
mm,
I know your argument of the Tony Zuko,
I totally
blah
done
blah
with
blah.
Zuko, but it was a very small part this week, and I kind of liked him and his interaction with the trickster,
Prankster.
prankster, whatever.
Honestly, I didn't really care for the prankster. Uh,
I was more interested, I guess, in the guy at the beginning, the slip shift guy.
yeah, but the mask killer will be interesting to see who the mask. I'm assuming he's gonna come out of retirement, and he's probably gonna be a cop or something. But I thought the prankster was kind of boring. I thought that stupid scene where he brings him donuts was idiotic.
He brings him donuts.
Remember when he knocks him? So the comic goes. So the cliffhanger last week is he's all like, you have to take off your mask to escape a fire, and then Nightwing beats him at his own game. Cops come, he bails him
Oh, I
out,
see.
then he
Yeah, the
knocks him
donuts.
out. Then he puts him on a roof because everything has to take place on a roof to a chair. And he wakes up and Nightwing is munching on some donuts, even though apparently he has no money to his name, quote unquote. Uh, but yeah, so then the prankster's all like,
Maybe.
"I'm a super hacker. Let me help. You'll help me out now." And so the prankster's like, "Whatever," and
Well,
then
they
he
had already
does.
established that he was a super hacker,
Right?
so
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that. And then
the
he
donuts
finds
thing
Tony
is
Zuko's house.
stupid. But I kind of like the rest of it. I mean, it's better than it had been. So,
Like I said, I think it's on
uh,
par from the previous weeks
well,
in
I
that
mean,
thing.
like pre coming to Chicago,
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's definitely been a
it's
mark
been
uptick in my
getting
enjoyment.
better since it came to Chicago.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I just think it's kind of plateaued at this point. Maybe the next. I think I have a feel the next issue might be pretty awesome. There's a
I
chance.
guess I guess I'm just appreciating the fact that he is carrying on a storyline from one comic to the next now.
It is a plus. He was almost approaching Green Arrow territories, which I still appreciate the fact that Green.
No, no, this is nowhere near as good as Green Arrow.
Remember Green Arrow though pre turning into Arrow, where
Right,
he didn't leave the story
this is
alone.
almost as good as the triplet storyline.
See, I didn't really care for the triplet storyline.
I thought this triplet storyline was hilarious.
So, yeah, that's Nightwing. But we go to a much better comic than Nightwing.
This is my favorite comic this week.
More than Constantine?
Yeah.
Oh, I already have to disagree with you. Constantine was my favorite.
Mm, I don't know. Harley Quinn taking over is just awesome.
You have more of a Harley Quinn crush than I do,
I
so
do. Harley Quinn's awesome.
All right, so did I break down the Suicide Squad
All right.
comic?
So you got last month, Harley Quinn was kind of being experimented on by Amanda Waller, and she sent Unknown Soldier in, and Harley attacked him and left him laying on the floor and escaped from her cell. And in this comic, she pretty much walks her way through all the guards and everything into Amanda Waller's office, and then takes away the controls and leaves Amanda Waller tied up, and then releases Deadshot, and Deadshot and Unknown Soldier fight, and then James Gordon Jr. shows up and puts an end to that fight. And then he comes walking into Amanda Waller's office, and him and Harley make a deal. So we'll have to see where that goes.
I like how Amanda Waller was all like, "Kill him, Kevin, kill her, kill her." He's like, "No, no, I'm gonna listen to what she says first."
I also really want to see what's going on with that giant thing made out of dead bodies that started it. That said, what did it say?
that that King Shark was gnawing on.
17 days from now, it says on the beginning of the comic, and whatever it is this giant creature marching through Las Vegas, and they're trying to stop it, and King Shark's trying to chew off its Achilles tendon.
And they're all like, "Can he even do that?"
It looked pretty awesome. I also like at the very end when it's
Cheetah.
got a hold of Deadshot, and
He's
right,
about to fall off.
Deadshot.
Yeah, he's
Then
he's
she's
about to
like,
fall
Cheetah,
off.
help me. And earlier in the comic, she asked him to help her, and he didn't do it. So
He's
she's
like, "My
like,
ex-wife said I could trust her," and then he walks away,
seriously, she says. She does
and
have
she's holding a minigun.
a minigun, so who knows what she's going to do. But yeah, it was awesome. I thought this comic was awesome.
The only small complaint I had with it was the unknown soldier being taken down the way he was by Deadshot.
A headbutt?
No, no, no. Yeah, he was headbutted and just beat up. I figured he could take Deadshot, but
It
he
was
was injured. But
close.
he was injured by Harley Quinn's knife to the gut, so maybe I'll
Yeah.
give him that.
He's not invincible. Well, he does have projectiles from Deadshot sticking in him too.
Right. Well, he does have a healing factor, so he'll be back and
Yeah.
probably angry.
Yes, yes, he's not dead or anything.
I
Um,
did like how he walked up and just knocked him out. Gordon did.
I really liked Harley Quinn psychoanalyzing Amanda Waller.
It was accurate.
I thought that was awesome.
So yeah, overall, pretty good comic. I enjoyed it. Nothing really else to really add to it. And then we come to Superboy.
My least favorite comic this week.
Let me look at the list here. Yeah, it definitely. I think it was worse than Green Lantern Corps, which I'm very shocked to be saying.
It wasn't terrible.
But it wasn't. Yeah, this also was better. I enjoy the inclusion of Crypto, even though on the cover he apparently looks like He-Man's Battle Cat without the armor.
He does. He does look like Cringer.
Cringer in Battle Cat form. But yeah, so the Dr. Psycho, Superboy
That's the part I
thing.
don't like.
I still don't really like Superboy as a character.
I don't like Dr. Psycho.
Dr. Psycho's kind of useless. I did enjoy the girl who is being
Yes.
chased by Hive for her psychic powers. She manifests a
Decay.
dark decay, which is this dark psychic form due to Hive's brainwashing and trying to turn her into a weapon. And Superboy has to break her out of that. That's a comic pretty much. And Dr. Psycho's all like, "How can you touch my kinetic form?" And blah, blah, blah. I'm a midget.
But
And
no mention of robbing a bank.
no.
No mention of how he has telekinetic powers.
No, he did. He said his T-key wasn't working on him.
But not like he normally does.
The usual. Hi, I'm Superboy. Let me tell you my backstory.
I'm a genetically engineered weapon with telekinetic touch powers. Blah, blah, blah. I robbed a bank.
Favorite character in this comic was definitely Crypto.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of animal characters. So I'm my favorite character was the girl.
I love the scene in the diner where the guy who runs the place, the chef, was all like, "About your dog, you can't. Never mind. No problem. Never mind. Good dog." Crypt-
uh,
also,
I find Crypto to be a weird character.
well, he in this one, he's just like a super smart attack wolf. So really, he's
Uh,
less dog and more wolf. I enjoy that version of Crypto. We've seen him in the the Superman comics. So, but yeah, overall,
it was okay.
better than usual.
Yeah,
It wasn't complete garbage, and for Superboy, that's a serious compliment. I did it. Superboy didn't make me angry this week.
yeah. Nothing
Yeah,
did. They were all okay or better.
this last purge has really done some good things.
And then we
So,
come to the brand new Superman Unchained.
um, it felt like Action Comics, more modern Action Comics. Like where it actually feels like a Superman story done pretty well.
Yeah, that was good.
I thought it was a pretty solid story. I didn't think it was nothing really knocked my socks off, but
It wasn't great, but it was a good Superman comic.
it was good. I did like the playing in the beginning on the it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman.
I like the part where Lex Luthor made the little pop-up paper tower thing in his book.
That would solve the energy crisis.
Yes.
It's like not you don't need to be. I love how it was like a stinging rebuke of Superman. You're not the only person who can be run on solar energy. And
Yeah.
but I love how he's like Lex Luthor, you're the one who did this with the stuff that happened, and he's all like, why would I bother doing that?
Dude at the end, that's what's his face, isn't it?
Hmm?
I
I don't know
can't
who
think of
that.
his name.
You talking about from Teen Titans? That one guy, the Russian dude?
What?
No, Red Comet or something. It's like Captain Atom. Um,
No, 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 no. He's the United States guy. Um,
Major Force.
is that his name?
Major. Are you talking about the not Captain Atom? Captain Atom.
Yeah.
That would be Major Force. I don't know if that's Major Force or not. Hold on, I'm gonna read Superman. I see a review for it right now. Give me 2 seconds.
I don't know. They
Uh,
just they said. Anyways, okay. So while you're doing that, I'll do the comic. So Superman Unchained. Someone has been launching orbiting structures toward the Earth, and Superman has been trying to stop them, including this giant battle station ship thing that was secretly built by the United States, Russia, and Japan. And so Superman managed to stop almost all of them, and one of them was headed for what's supposed to be a abandoned military base, and so he just let it go, and it crashed in the ocean instead. And when he went down to look at it, there's a handprint on it, and so he knows that somebody else stopped it. And then when you get all the way to the end of the comic, there's a little part in there where he stops and criminals are trying to escape, and he talks to Lex Luthor, who's on board the ship but didn't have anything to do with it. Lex Luthor said he was going to solve the energy crisis with his solar tower and new liquid sun fuel or something like that. And then at the very end, General Lane says, um,
we have the real Superman down here, and he's been working for the United States for nearly 75 years.
yeah,
I don't think that's going to be Major Force, though. Maybe it is. I don't know. We'll have to see. It was interesting. Definitely interesting to see more. I liked the Lois Lane character in this comic. I felt they captured Lois Lane pretty well. Jimmy Olsen was captured pretty well. Their boss was captured pretty well.
Lex
Um,
Luthor was really good.
Lex Luthor was done well. This is Scott Snyder from Batman, so top notch.
Yeah, well,
Art was
it's
good. Art was good. Superman was good. He didn't whine. He didn't cry to himself. He just acted like Superman.
yeah. And then they had a little backup with some dude getting taken out of a net with his eyes burnt out. I have no idea.
Right. He's like, get me Lois Lane, and that's going to
Yeah,
be the next thing. So, yeah, that's it for that one. Nothing
yep.
else really to say. Solid.
I liked
Then we
it.
come to Threshold. What did you think of Threshold this week?
Funny as usual. I enjoyed it. They got a new Green Lantern that I don't know though. um,
Right.
coming toward the end there.
It's let me see that again. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know who that Green Lantern is either. I did enjoy Threshold. I'm glad to see we got some Booster Gold this week too.
You
He's
mean
still
Blue
there.
Beetle?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle's still going
I'm
around.
like, Booster Gold was in it? I totally missed him. Uh, then I realized, oh, you mean Blue Beetle because they're.
I did like this line. The whole God thing, that I could deal with. My mom's second cousin thought she was a Rottweiler. Crazy I can handle. But mind games, I'm out of here.
um, yeah, it was pretty good. You had you got I can't remember what his name is. It Call, Jediah Call, sitting out there trying to debating whether or not he should go back and save the people because if you don't remember last time uh, Brainiac had collected the part of the city that they were in, and Jediah escaped from it, and then fought with Brainiac. Brainiac let him go so he didn't destroy his collections. And so yeah, he he put the AI chip in the ship so she could take it over for a little bit, and trying to hopefully have her stop Brainiac, which didn't work, but it almost worked. And or maybe it didn't work at all. I don't know. And then this other Green Lantern guy shows up and saves the section of the city. And when he tries to bring it back down, they fire on him. And then they had some little part here about.
We know that's the same Green Lantern. That's him in his transformed form, dude. Like when his spine gets broke and he's thrown into space, you see him partially transforming because of the Green
Oh,
Lantern
I
ring.
totally didn't realize that was
Yeah,
Jediah
yeah.
Call. It was
That's
the mask.
Jediah
It
Call.
was the mask thing.
Yeah, which is
That and
like
the
the
fact
dumbest
he was
man.
orange.
Yeah.
They don't even look like the same person. That's weird. Why is he orange?
Because reasons. So yeah, overall pretty good comic. I don't know. Threshold never
Uh,
really grabbed me that much.
I enjoy
So
it.
after the first couple months, yeah,
I'd like to know more about the people coming out of the tree there.
I'm sure we'll find out more next week, maybe
Um,
next month.
yeah, hopefully. And then they had a little backup with the Star Hawkins, um, and he's the guy who had the AI chick uh, with him that Jediah stole. And yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it. He just got captured by some dudes, and they're gonna take him to talk to somebody. Um, but yeah, that was Threshold. I enjoyed it because I like Threshold.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. And we come to our last comic for this week, World's Finest, which I really enjoyed
I also really enjoyed, but I always really enjoy World's Finest.
because it's Earth 2 related.
Hmm.
What I really enjoyed about this is they're still following up with Desaad, who has come over and he's apparently torturing people and turning them into monsters, and he sicks a giant dog on them. Literally, he sicks a giant dog on them, and it's epic. And
It
so they
was pretty awesome.
trash the place that they're trying to get information on Desaad and what he's up to, and then then they go to her safe house, which is in a little quaint little house, and then the dog gets sicked on them again, and then they beat down the dog eventually.
Yeah, they wrap it up in cable and then
I
fire it
love
into the
I
part
love
of the
this
transformer.
I love this huntress line, and she's like, first the house, now my sweet tooth's ruined. This dog's adding insult to injury. Everyone's running away from the dog while Super Power Girl fights it. And then the police come by, and not likely they'll help. And he's like, right. She's like, right. Dad's kind of situation. Opposition with clearly equal or superior strength. No effective weapons. Quote, look at your environment, Helena. Weaponize it. And then she sees the electrical towers, and she realizes this is how I beat him. And it totally works.
I really like the beginning too when she's got that woman and she's threatening her to get the
Yeah.
case files, and Power Girl just smashes her way in and uses her X-ray vision to find it, and then flies up through the floor. And
Right. You ready?
did,
Get anything?
did
Did
I
I
win
win
the
the
scavenger
scavenger
hunt?
hunt?
Uh,
Seriously?
I thought that was really funny. But yeah, it looked really, or it was really good. I always enjoy it. So, but yeah, that was the comics for the week.
Yep. So best comic, in my opinion, was Constantine.
Best comic in my opinion was Suicide Squad.
Worst comic this week was probably looking through the list again. Yeah, Superboy.
Yeah, Superboy or Katana for me.
Really? For me, it would be Superboy.
They were
But
about on
still not as bad as it
same
used to be.
level for me. So
Overall, I think the quality of the comics are improving, maybe, or at
maybe
least the bad comics are not as bad as they used to be. Let me at least say it that way.
right.
It seems like so. Next week will probably teach us a lesson on why we shouldn't say something like that. What is?
Right.
You know what? How are we doing? Oh, we're at an hour and a half. Yeah, we gotta wrap this show up.
Well, we can do a quick rundown of next week's comics. We got Animal Batman, and Batgirl because it's going to be Batman versus Batgirl. We
Well,
got Bat.
he hasn't gotten done alienating the rest of the family yet. So
All right. We got Batwoman, Birds of Prey, New Guardians,
everything you're reading is making me happy so far.
Vibe,
Eh.
Legion of Superheroes,
Wait,
Red Hood and the Outlaws, Supergirl.
time out. Didn't we get Red Hood and the Outlaws like 2 weeks ago, or are they still playing catch up or something?
I don't know. I think their release is all screwed up. And then Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Well, we'll see how bad Wonder Woman is next week, I guess.
Well, we're definitely going to get at least a couple of not so good comics next week, I think. So,
Well,
well,
we got,
actually, the only one that's Legion of Superheroes usually I don't like,
but
but
that's because we really don't read it.
Wonder Woman I've been reading and I don't like that one ever.
No, Wonder Woman I think will probably be the weakest comic next week.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's about it. What are
I
you
think
endorsing
so.
this week?
I'm gonna support video cards that work since mine quit on Monday and I'm using an old video card and I can't even play video games barely.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, it sucks. My new one comes tomorrow though.
I am supporting Daria because I found a website with all of Daria on it, and I have been watching that today, and I've been really enjoying it. Again, been like a
Na
year or two since I've seen Daria again, and it's still just as good.
na
It
na
really
na
holds up.
na
Yeah.
na.
Wow, that was like the worst. Like, as somebody who does horrible impressions of song titles, like jingles, that was horrible.
I couldn't quite remember how it went.
Na 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 na. Okay, we're done now.
Is that supposed to be from Daria?
It sounded good in my head.
Well, I think you just tied me for last place right there. So.
Well, if you're gonna fail, you should be the best at it, right?
Exactly.
There you go. All right, so that's about it.
All right, we'll talk to you next week then.
Like it if you like it. Subscribe if you want to see more.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot my whole little thing, didn't I?
Yes, ninja. So like it, subscribe it, share it, make it your new Bible. Talk to you later.